I think the biggest problem with modern dating is that people are very focused on what they can get away with. And here's what I mean. There's a lot of terminology with modern dating: exclusivity, non-exclusive, talking, seeing each other, casually dating, seriously dating, to the point where I think some of the parameters in terms of those labels are detrimental. Because what's happening is people are saying, well, we don't have this title and therefore I can get away with doing XYZ. So in the case of the story I told on this video, we're not exclusive, therefore I can fly out another girl who I'm romantically interested in to stay with me at my house while the first girl I'm dating is out of town. And I can take the first girl to breakfast when she gets out while the other girl is waiting for me at my house. Ethically, it's just not a sound decision-making process. It has nothing to do with exclusive, not exclusive, the seriousness of the relationship. It's just about respecting people. And that's where I think labels can be detrimental, because people in my comments, a couple people were saying, well, you weren't exclusive, so why did you care what he was doing? We weren't exclusive yet because I wanted to learn more about his character and his decision-making processes prior to getting into an exclusive relationship with him. And just because you're not ready to be in an exclusive, serious relationship with someone doesn't mean they should do everything they can possibly get away with. And that's where I think the misalignment is. People are very focused on, well, if we don't have this title, then I can get away with doing X, Y, Z. It doesn't mean that you should. And it doesn't mean that any decision you make won't have repercussions or consequences from the other person. So yes, labels do matter in terms of the guides for the relationship and what's acceptable and what's not. But just because something is not explicitly stated as unacceptable, or you haven't reached the stage in the relationship yet where certain behaviors are unacceptable, doesn't mean you should just do everything that you possibly can prior to getting to that point. Because that's a reflection of your character, whether you like it or not. Let me know your thoughts, drop them in the comments.
Modern dating has completely collapsed, and nobody wants to admit the real reason why. The digital illusion of infinite choice has broken how we view value, leaving good men to completely exit the market. If you're ready for the raw, unscripted truth about social dynamics in 2026, hit that subscribe button right now and turn on notifications. Let's look at exactly how the game got ruined.
With modern women, you never ever want to act like you are ever looking for anything serious beyond some casual fun inside of the bedroom. You show up, you do your thing, she's going to leave, okay, and when you see her, and when you don't, you don't. But I'm going to tell you this, with modern women today, you cannot pursue for anything serious. Majority of women will be comparing you to every other guy that they've ever slept with, and because of that, if you sense any form of attachment, if you sense any form of neediness, if you sense any form of wanting a relationship, and guess what? She was with 2 or 3 guys in the past who were okay with just keeping things casual and then not talking afterwards. You have to understand this. In her mind, those other guys are higher value than you, because while you want something serious with her and the other guys didn't, she instantly assumes that their attention was more valuable. So since their attention was more valuable, because they were okay with just keeping things casual, and here you are catching feelings. I know that this sounds harsh, but this is actually how it works in the real world. You have to be aware of this. Don't do anything besides take it when it comes, okay? What happens inside the bedroom is what happens. Afterwards, it's completely over. And you have to learn and understand how to desensitize your own attachment and your own emotions just to be okay with that, because that's what she's going to be looking for. And if you don't operate that way, she'll leave you anyways. If you want to learn, understand, and master the language of women at an even deeper level, check out what I made for you. It's in my bio, it's in my description. I created a full-length end-to-end process that any guy can use and just copy-paste into their dating life and go.
Okay, is anybody else genuinely fucking concerned at how normalized it has become to act like somebody you're not when you're dating? Why do I have to act aloof and act nonchalant? Why do I have to distance myself and dim my light and act like I don't like somebody that much when I do? That's so fucking stupid. Why are we doing that? Why would your husband act this way? No, he wouldn't. But guess what? I'm not gonna assume any dude that I barely know is my fucking husband. That's not healthy. You're supposed to let him come to you. You're supposed to let him initiate the moves and the plans. Okay, I hear you, and I want that. But also, is it wrong to just be an adult woman and be like, hey, I like you. I would like to see you. Can we set something up? Is that wrong? I don't think it is. I think that's called healthy adult communication. But we're so fucking bent up on all these rules, these dating rules. What the fuck? What? And ever since I moved to LA, it's gotten 10 times worse. Y'all are fucking dogs out here. My authenticity is my biggest strength. My authenticity, my genuineness, my heart it's my biggest strength, you know? And every time I try and shrink it down to try and be aloof, I don't feel like myself and I don't fuck with it. You know what I mean? So like, anyway, I'm so over modern dating. I'm like the rest of you. I give up. I give up.
I cannot be the only one who is at the point with Hinge where I'll go into the app, I will see people that have liked me, but it no longer registers that these are even like human beings that live in my city. Even if there's someone who I would be attracted to if they had approached me in real life, I am just simply incapable of getting excited or interested about a person from a dating app. I post a lot about like dating, being single, blah, blah, blah on TikTok, and I love reading the comments because what I've learned is that dating apps did truly ruin dating. Ironically, of course. And low-key, so has like TikTok dating tips, you know? Women's algorithms are getting fed certain dating tips. You have to have this, whatever. Do this, do that, don't do this, don't do that. Obviously, I'm not on the dude side, but I'm sure they're getting fed the same type of shit. We need a dating revolution. We really do.
Yeah, dude, I matched with this girl the other day. She's pretty cute. I think I'm gonna take her out.
Did you ever end up hanging out with that girl?
Yeah, we've just been talking, gone on a couple dates, and she's coming over on Friday for wine, so we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, were you vibing with what's-her-face, or what's the update on that?
Yeah, no, it's been good. We've just been hooking up for, probably close to a month now, actually.
So, like, would you date her? Like, are you guys dating?
Yeah, I could see myself dating her, actually. It's been a few months. It's kind of like a situationship at this point.
I've been seeing you with that girl all the time. Like, is it getting serious?
Dude, I've been meaning to tell you, actually. We had a conversation the other day, and we're actually, like, exclusive.
What do you mean exclusive? Like, it sounds like she's your girlfriend.
I don't know if I want to, like, put a label on it like that, but, neither of us are talking to anyone else.
So what's new with you and Stacey? Are you guys still going good?
You're not going to believe this. I took her out to a really nice spot the other night, and, dude, I popped the question. Like, I actually asked her to be my girlfriend. Wow, look at you.
We got the BS about this. If this app is going away, let me just have an honest conversation with you. I really want to hear your thoughts. Dating nowadays is an embarrassment. I quit the game of dating, not because I can't play it, but because the rules of it are so stupid that I refuse to play by them. You tell me that I have to follow this whole list of rules and that I can't have these expectations or I can't have these requirements because technically he's not my boyfriend and we're just dating, but not exclusively because we didn't have that conversation yet. Do we hear ourselves? Men used to build churches. They used to go to war over women. They used to build estates. Commitment used to mean something, and it wasn't like these 5 clauses that you have to discuss and communicate clearly, because if you don't, then that's on you for expecting something. Like, what? And you would think that with the advancement of technology, we would get smarter. But instead, it seems like we're becoming more and more tolerant to stupidity. And this isn't just to blame men. Women are doing this too. I'm watching, I'm seeing it. And sometimes I've been that woman. But we gotta have a little bit of a backbone. You're telling me I have to watch someone disrespect me in my face because we didn't have this whole conversation about X, Y, and Z, and so therefore I can't expect A, B, C from that. Like, And then I'm watching marriages. Watching women get disrespected or men get disrespected. All because of the illusion of choice. And let me tell you something about the illusion of choice. You actually don't have that many choices. So don't fool yourselves. There is nothing sexier than a person who has morals. And I just want to know why we've put up with this and why we've allowed this. Because in some degree, in some regard, we're consenting to this by allowing it to continue. And maybe I'm old school, maybe I'm old fashioned. But if this is what modernity looks like, I want no part in it. I don't. Where did the sanctity of commitment go? I feel sometimes when I talk to my friends about this, I sound like this archaic woman. But again, if this is what modernity looks like, I don't like this. This doesn't feel good. Where did the handwritten love letters go? Where did the spontaneous trips and the beautiful words and poetic professions of love, where did that go? Because a DM and a text message, it feels like an insult. My ancestral line runs deep, okay? My spirit guides are loud. So until then, I quit. I'm not doing it.
Dating sucks. I hate it. Found out there's like 3 different ways that you can be ghosted. 3 different ways. First one is like the standard ghosting. You just stop messaging someone. Boom, ghosted. The second one, I'm calling it ego ghosting. That's when you turn on your read receipts to let the other person know you read their message. And then you just ghost them. Yeah, I'm calling that ego ghosting because like you're letting them know that you're ghosting them, that you read the message. I think it's like just stroking their ego or something. I don't know. That's what I'm calling it. And then the third one, which is the most recent one that I found out, I actually have a term for it called soft ghosting. And that is when you like the last message that someone sent you, and then you don't respond. And I think that's the worst one. They're only doing that because they don't feel guilty not responding to you, because you still get that notification that they liked their message. So technically they did respond. I think that's the worst. But if you want to be petty about it, those people that like your message, the soft ghosting, ask them a question. They will most likely reply, because the only reason they're liking your message is because it makes them feel guilt-free. So ask them a question if you think you're getting soft ghosted. And then when they respond, like their message. And just leave it at that. I would do that, but I don't have time for that. I'm gonna go for a run.
A few people have asked me my thoughts on the Scott Galloway post about modern dating and men, and here's my thoughts on this. I think the biggest problem with these conversations is how they are framed as though the systems and women are failing men. I think we do this with dating. I think we do this with the male loneliness epidemic. We kind of frame it as though everything is failing men, as opposed to the fact that men are not adapting to kind of modern day life. Women for centuries have had to mold themselves and adapt to the systems that men created to find some sort of success. And now that women are achieving it more than men, we are looking to it and saying we're failing them. We are failing the men. We need to change something. And ultimately, I think what the framing of those things looks like is that we're asking women to change and women to adapt to where men are at, as opposed to asking men to change and adapt to the current systems. And I think this kind of points to the birth rate conversation we were having earlier this week. The economist Claudia Golden cited in certain research that she thinks the birth rate drop is partially to do with the fact that men are not participating in the homes and they haven't adapted to modern day life. Women these days are working full time, taking care of the home, taking care of the kids, and that has changed drastically, right, in the last 50, 60 years. And men have not changed with the times, right? Women are working outside of the home, but men are not participating in a more equitable way inside the home. And so women are opting out of that, which we don't talk about enough, right? We don't talk about how the fact that their inaction or inability to adapt and change is part of the reason these things are happening. And so I think as it pertains to like the male loneliness epidemic or all of these things, you know, women now can get a college education. They can have a job. They can have careers. They can have their own money. They can buy their own house. And so they can achieve all these things on their own, and they no longer have to attach themselves to men to get those things. And now that that's the case, we're looking at it as though there's some sort of crisis on our hands that we have to address. And I think that's the reason I don't like the framing of it. I'm not saying that we shouldn't care about the impact on men. I want everybody to be happy, healthy, and thriving, but I also don't think that it should come at the expense of women sacrificing their standards or their wants and their needs. And I think that's the missing part of the conversation.
Modern day dating sucks. And I'm going to tell you exactly why, okay? You would not believe how many women reach out to me and say, oh, the modern day dating pool is awful. All of the men I'm dating are terrible. Where do I find the good men? Like, where are the good men at? I'm tired of dating shitty guys. Well, here's where the good men are, okay? The good men, you're not going to find them on the dating apps. You're not going to find them at the clubs and the bars. These are the guys who are staying at home. They're the ones going to the grocery store. They're the ones going to the gym. They're the ones with tight circles now who have probably removed themselves from the dating pool. And why have these good men removed themselves from the dating pool? Well, unfortunately, chances are it's because women, when you dated that shitty guy, you may have adopted some traumas. And then when you dated that good guy, you didn't know how to treat him right, how to respect him, how to deal with a good guy. And you pass those traumas along to this good guy. And this good guy may have gotten hurt. And what have the good men done? They've just removed themselves from the dating pool entirely. They've tightened their circles. They've figured out how to be comfortable with themselves. And they're not looking for anyone anymore. They're the ones who are at home on the weekends. They're the ones who are at the gym and just living their own quiet life. And that is why modern day dating has become so difficult, because the women are looking for the good men, but the good men have been hurt and removed themselves from the dating pool. And now you're stuck with the single men who are menaces, who are not looking to be good men because they know they can just keep running this cycle of treating women poorly and then moving on to the next woman and treating women poorly. And unfortunately, that is the debacle of the modern day dating sphere and why it's become so difficult.
All right, so this generation for dating is absolutely destroyed, and I'll tell you why. Everybody thinks they have so many options, and they do. With social media and some kind of status, it's very easy to go on dates. It's very easy and very accessible to just, meet somebody new via DMs, messages. And, it gets to people's head, and people's ego gets risen, and people think they have options, and they always look for more, and they always look for better. If it doesn't work out with this person, there's somebody better out there. I'm just going to get lucky, and I'm going to meet the right person on social media. And that's the problem. Social media has gotten to people's heads. People's old school morals and values have just gone out the window. There's no such thing as old school love anymore. People are not getting married. If anything, divorce rates are going higher. So it's just a shitty generation we live in, very toxic, and everything is motivated by status, fame, or money. it is what it is.
You can get cut off in dating so fast nowadays, like texting every day, FaceTiming, hanging out for like 2 months, then one day they don't answer. You're like, hey, is everything all right? It's like, can you stop texting me? I have a boyfriend. Thought I was your boyfriend. What am I, on Shutter Island? Did I ever actually exist? How could you have even talked to anyone more than me? You told me yesterday you didn't talk to anyone. That's all it is nowadays, just smoke and mirrors, talking to a bunch of people till someone they just decide they like someone a little bit more than everyone else. No communication, no explanation. Then in 3 weeks, they get played by that person. They're texting you again, like, hey, can we FaceTime later? It's like, oh, look who it is. I'm free at 8.
This is exactly what I was talking about. It's why I think that talking stages and like situationships are so pointless. I don't understand why people are so afraid of labels. They'll be in like a situationship for like 6 months and they'll like refuse to call whoever they're talking to their boyfriend or their girlfriend. Like why? Why do we put so much pressure on these labels? Literally all calling someone your girlfriend means is I'm only talking to this person. Why do we all have to keep our options open all the time? I think in today's day and age with dating apps and stuff, with the ability to go on your phone, swipe through Tinder and have 10 matches within an hour of all like new possible people you can talk to. It seems like people sort of have the mindset of like the grass is always greener. This person's great, but like I can swipe through my phone, have like 20 new people to talk to. Maybe one of them I'll like more. Maybe I should keep my options open. That's setting yourself up to not have like an actual connection with anybody because you're not giving anybody the time and the chance to have that connection. A lot of people might have heard of the 80-20 rule, where if you like 80% of somebody, you should hold on to that person. The reason that you hold on to the 80% is because nobody's perfect and you don't want to risk letting go of a perfectly good 80% in search of some 20% that you don't even know if it exists or not. I said this in my other video, after like a week of talking to my girlfriend, I wanted to be exclusive, and that's not making a huge commitment. That's literally just expressing, hey, I like you, I want to give this a shot and see where it takes us. Because like in my mind, the idea of having like a roster gives me chills in like a really bad way. The way I see it, if you're talking to like 10 people at once, you're not actually trying with any of them. I've always been someone who, if I like someone, that's like the person I'm talking to. That's my opinion. Call me wrong. Maybe I am. So many people are gonna call me like old-fashioned and not agree with me. This only applies if you actually want to get into a relationship with somebody. If you don't listen to anything I just said. None of that applies to you. However, if you know that you don't want to get into a relationship and you know that the person that you're talking to does, do not lead them on, please.
I think dating is too casual these days. Everybody cancels last minute and it's starting to really wear on me. Like I was supposed to have coffee with somebody this morning and they messaged me an hour before we were supposed to get together and said that they slept poorly and weren't feeling well and could we reschedule for later in the day. I'm busy later. I have plans. I am a schedule-oriented person. So no, we can cancel. And unfortunately, because that was your first impression, now with me, we're not ever gonna meet up again. So I don't, like, tell me if I'm inflexible or if I'm the crazy one here, but if you agree to do something with somebody, you do it. And I'm not a monster. I understand sometimes you don't feel well, but there have been plenty of times I've set up a date with somebody and I'm excited that day, and then the day of the date rolls around and I'm like, man, I really do not feel like going. Like I am not in the right headspace. I don't want to do this. You go anyway because you made a commitment. You don't have to stay long. You can tell that person, you can communicate, look, I'm not at my best today, but sometimes you have to do things that you don't want to do because you made plans. And I feel like that concept is lost on a lot of people these days. Am I wrong? Let me know if I'm crazy.
The rules of the game have changed, and the guys who refuse to adapt are the ones getting left behind. To see exactly how women are setting up these digital validation traps, click on this next breakdown right here. Stay grounded.